Hi, this is Lucas Orsvan from Wolfire Games, standing in for David. In this video, I'll show the changes for Overgrowth Alpha 2.10, which you can try if you've pre-ordered. A lot has happened in the 9 months since the previous alpha was released. We've been working on this game for a long time and wanted to experiment with ways to bring it to completion more efficiently. We spent a lot of time on our own game engine technology, so we investigated Unreal Engine 4 for a couple months to see if it would be more efficient to switch over and not have to worry about technology as much. However, we ended up sticking with our own tech for a few reasons. For instance, the Unreal Engine 4 editor requires a powerful machine to run, and primarily supports Windows, so that could make it more difficult for players to make mods and levels. We would also have to re-implement several signature Overgrowth features, such as the animation and blood systems, which could prove difficult in such a large codebase. Instead of switching to a new engine, we decided to keep using our existing technology, but greatly expand the team size. We were just 2 people, and now we have between 5 and 23 people working on the game, depending on how you count part-timers and contractors. While much of David's time has gone towards hiring and management, we have also made a lot of progress on the game itself. One of our new programmers, Micah, has been working on a new arena mode to bring a greater variety to the fights in the arena. The biggest challenge so far was creating a workflow to easily create specific kinds of fights. To use this new arena mode in a level, first make sure you remove all spawn points in the level. Then go to the script tab, press set level script and find multi_arena in the list. Now open up the item browser, go to the utility tab and place a few arena spawn objects and an arena battle object. Select one of the arena spawn objects and press U to bring up the parameter editor and give it a name. Do this for each spawn point so we can refer to them later on. Now, open up the properties for the arena battle object. Press the launch button to bring up the arena battle editor. Add a new battle. At the start of each round, the game will select a random battle from this list. Give your battle a name, set the number of rounds you want in this battle, and write the text that will appear when the battle starts. Let's make a simple 1 versus 1 battle with a knife in the middle. Since we changed the level script, we need to restart the game and load up the level again before we can test it out. While creating this new arena mode, Micah added some features that will be especially useful for modders. You now have the ability to attach arbitrary types of parameters to objects, and you can create editors using HTML, JSON, and JavaScript. Max, another of our recently hired programmers, improved the game's mod support so that mods can be enabled and disabled from within the game itself. Each mod now has its own data folder in the data/mods folder, containing all of its files, as well as an XML file describing the mod itself. In the new mod menu, which you can find on the main menu, you can activate and deactivate each mod independently. When the game is looking for a file, it will look in all the mods data folders first. This way, it's possible to overload the game's original files without having to modify any existing files. After experimenting with the Unreal Engine, David was inspired to update the Overgrowth graphics engine to improve performance as well as visual fidelity. To improve performance, he updated all of the rendering from legacy OpenGL 2.1 to OpenGL 3.2 Core, and used the new instancing features to reduce draw calls and z-prepass rendering to reduce overdraw. He also added a new Simple Shadows option, which should dramatically improve performance on slower graphics cards. To improve visual fidelity, he started working on a new global illumination system, which maps ambient lighting throughout the scene in a tetrahedral mesh instead of just a single static cube map. This system is still in progress, but you can test it out by making a large placeholder object, selecting it, and pressing Ctrl-J to calculate the light probes. You can then move them around like any other object to place them where they are most needed. He also added some simpler improvements, like combining all of the static object shaders into one unified shader, and adding some post-processing effects like tone mapping and high dynamic range bloom. Because of all these rendering changes, decals and split screen are temporarily disabled for this alpha. We want to get back to releasing alphas more often. Our target is to release a new alpha version every other Friday from now on. In addition to this, we have added a new internal testing branch on Steam if you would like to try updates as soon as possible. Once the new automated build deployment system is completed in the coming weeks, expect to see nightly updates to that new branch. That's it for this video. If you'd like to pre-order and try the alpha for yourself, and get a free copy of Receiver and Lowlight Combat, you can do that at wolfire.com/preorder. If you'd like to hear about development news as soon as it happens, you can follow us on Twitter @Wolfire.